This is a horror game podcast. It is meant for mature audiences. It may contain adult language, violence, and sexual themes, as well as shocking revelations. Viewer discretion is advised. Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I are playing the Alien role-playing game. I'm your host, Thom Raley. The scenario is called Heart of Darkness. It was written by Andrew E.C. Gaska, and it's available from Free League Publishing. Our game AI is Tyler Hudak, and this is episode 1. This being our first episode, I want to mention that we rely on your contributions. Our funding comes to us mostly through our Patreon site. We don't monetize our videos so that you get them without any interruptions. Your generous support helps us to pay for our website, our club space, and everything that goes into our video production. It's your support that keeps us going, and we deeply appreciate it. That being said, we have a new patron. David J. Bianco has pledged $15 a month to our club, which is extremely generous, and we are deeply appreciative. Once again, thanks, David, very much. So without any further delays, let's begin our journey into the darkness. Tyler?
All right. You're an international science team, handpicked by Weyland-Yutani to investigate a new form of life. It's a survey, sample, and assay job, but one where you were offered book deals, benefits, university tenure, and lots of money to accept. You were hastily contracted and transported past the Outer Rim aboard an understaffed plasma trawler called Ceterina. After a 3-month cryosleep, you've arrived at your destination. The year is 2185. The viewport shields in the galley slide open. A swirling whirlpool of pitch black greets you set against a starry backdrop. The ravenous mass gulps torrents of plasma from 2 unraveling orange globes that were once dwarf stars. This is 26 Draconis, a restricted system that's home to the Ablassen black hole. The powerful singularity is consuming both the planets in its path and the system's 2 remaining stars. Whatever life they found is out here in all that. You're headed for Erebos, an orbiting Weyland-Yutani plasma trawling platform and recharge station. You assemble on the observation deck for hot coffee, the only good thing on the system, and the breathtaking view. Go ahead and introduce yourselves. You've all woken up several days prior, so you've already you already knew each other. You were meeting everybody, getting to know one another. The captain of the ship, Lugar, and her android, Gray, have not yet come up. So you're sitting around, drinking coffee, conversing. So go ahead and introduce yourselves. Professor Navarre, let's start with you.
Yes, I'm Professor Hector Navarre. I am a bioengineer of some repute. I am currently 74 years old, but I am in excellent health. Um, I've worked on a number of projects in the past, mostly identifying and following the metabolism structure of certain xeno organisms that we have discovered along the way. I'm not really a social person. I am very detail oriented. When my colleagues get excited about something new, I tell them that they need to wait until all of the testing and all of the analysis is finished before we have some sort of champagne party. Um, and I'm not very social, so don't expect me at your birthday party.
All right. Dr. Ujiri, what about you?
My name is Dr. Tetsu Ejiri. I am a medical doctor as well as a PhD in radiobiology. I am 64 years old. I have been hired by Wayland Yutani to oversee this very impressive team of scientists and to help complete our mission and get everyone home safely. My personality tends to be a bit pensive, but I'm also known for my empathy and my I try to keep people calm. I'm not a yeller. I'm more of a someone who likes to talk with people and listen to them.
All right, excellent. Let's go to Lark.
Hello, I'm Lark, the resident android and the counselor for the crew on this vessel and this mission. Um, I appear to be about 40 years of age, in actuality, quite younger. I've spent my career as a counselor for our company, and I've perfected this very calm and soothing personality that I use to good effect when helping people maintain their cool and work through the things they got to work through.
Excellent. And then Colonel Dr. Seja Drabakovsky.
Yes, I'm Colonel Dr. Seja Drabakowski. Um, she's 36 years old and a little bit short compared to everybody else. Um, and she studies astrophysics. Um, Tetsu, did you make this coffee? It tastes just as bad as what you make back at the Institute.
No, well, I only have what I have to work with.
All right. And then finally, Sergeant Sajad.
Sergeant Sajad is a woman. She actually appears to be about the same age as Lark, but she came by it honestly, the good old-fashioned way. She is pretty cheerful, and she seems to be very excited to be out in this middle of the nowhere station, protecting a group of nerds. They only sent her as the security detail, but she's not too worried about it.
You were all sitting around for, couple minutes. You have been asked by the captain, Aloysia Lugar, to meet in here as a message has come. The captain is, I would say she's not really aloof. She's kind of actually a delightful person to be around. You've enjoyed your conversations for the most part with her, but you also know when she is working, you need to leave her alone. She's that type of captain. She walks into the room along with the ship's bishop type android, Gray. Gray, is not going to say useless, but he really is just an android to do tasks around the ship and diagnostics, maybe some repairs, and that's about it. He doesn't have any skills driving the ship. In fact, the captain forbids him from driving the ship, so he can't, and so on. But Gray and the captain come into the room. Gray quietly places an activated modular computing device on the deck. From the company, I'm told, he whispers.
Well, well, my hand-picked international science team. No doubt eager to begin work after a long 3-month cryosleep. But first, you're probably wondering why a bishop android is sitting behind a mahogany desk. It's understandable, but I assure you, I'm no synthetic. I'm Michael Bishop, Company Director of Special Projects, and I created the line of androids named after me. That black hole out there is magnificent, isn't it? And living in that swirling plasma soup is a xeno-extremophile they're calling the Hesdalen Lights. Erebos Station observed them swarming around a significant meteoric mass in the plasma field. So we gave the green light to anchor the meteor to the station for study. Erebos' science officer name is Clerk. We'll brief you more on the meteor when you arrive. Now, a couple of safety concerns. First, Erebos is a Weyland-Yutani prison worksite. There are 99 conscripted convicts, but Warren Stykes and his android officers maintain order. Don't wander off alone. Second, that black hole puts out electromagnetic energies that can scramble your brain like staying awake during FTL, but much worse. If you feel depressed or paranoid, talk to Dr. Lark. If you start feeling anything extreme, report to the station's medical officer, Webb. He's got meds to help. Now, about these lights. How smart are they? Is there a pattern to their flashes? Are they trying to communicate? What exploitable properties do they exhibit? Just think of all we can learn from them. I only wish I could be there with you. Godspeed.
Is this the first that we've heard of these Hezbollah lights?
Yes, this is all new information. You knew that you were going to the Ablassen black hole, that there were these extremophile objects, aliens that they had found. You knew that you were going to the Erebos station, but this is the first you've heard of the Hezbollah lights, what they are, or what he described. It's also the first that you've heard that Erebos is also a prison.
Hmm.
The captain does not look happy to that effect. Yeah, as soon as she heard that, you could hear her swearing under her breath, and she just blurts out, communication missteps like this are what will get people killed. They should have told us about this. And Gray is just kind of staring blankly.
That's Captain. I agree. This is very important information we should have been informed of before we even went to cryosleep and arrived here.
But more importantly, some kind of creature can live in that plasma. It's millions of Kelvin. I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, that's why it's an extremophile, but we haven't encountered a great many alien species. It also, my guess is that it might in fact be some sort of natural phenomena, since we've not had any kind of contact with it. It also seems highly unlikely that it seems highly unlikely too that it's carbon based. I think it would be vaporized.
An energy, form of energy.
And Professor Navarre, like you said, you've investigated similar things from this, and in almost every single case before, the extremophile life was energy that was mistaken for life, or just some weird physics phenomena or something like that.
Captain, is it your intent that we dock with this station or maintain an orbit around it? Do you think?
She sighs. Yeah, we're still going to dock. That's what we're being paid for. We'll, again, I'm not too thrilled that this is a prison, but obviously, it's also being used for for the science stuff that you all are doing. So my job is to get you there, so I'm gonna get you there.
Well, we're not going to be waited on by the prisoners, are we? They're going to be completely separated from us.
She says, I would assume so, but I guess we'll find out when we get there.
They have an android staff of security guards.
Yeah, and you all received some information on the Airbo station from this computer, and there would have been maps and stuff on the system, even though it didn't kind of give everything. And you know that there are 12 administration staff on the Erebos. There are 12 corrections officers, 12 human corrections officers, I should say, 36 synthetics, and synthetics are described as corrections officers, so they're kind of very similar to the working Joes, maybe a step up in that they're more like synthetic guards. There are, as Michael Bishop said, there are 99 prisoners, and there's also one cat on board.
Can we assume that being so far away from the main areas of Wayland Yutani's territory, that these are extremely dangerous and or homicidal maniac prisoners?
It's a good thought that yes, these are, likely they're not going to send, somebody who cheated on their taxes all the way out here. It's likely going to be, hardened criminals, somebody who might be, maximum security. To kind of put it into perspective a little, if any of you know history, you might think that this is the Alcatraz in space.
Where can you
Yeah,
go except into the
that's
accretion
almost one
disk?
for two correction officer. Like they're not playing around. Like
Yep.
that's pretty serious.
But given that it's run by a corporation, it'll probably be run poorly anyway.
Well, that's why you got me.
And
I'll
these
suit up while we're
prisoners,
down there.
what is their role out here? Are they mining asteroids? Are they just warehoused here? Do they have a role?
The other information that comes in about Erebos, they are a part of the station. They do have essentially mining or plasma trawling jobs. So they're not just sitting in prison cells. They do have jobs. So to put a little bit of context in this as well, Erebos is a plasma trawling station. So with all of the energy being sucked into this black hole, there's a lot of plasma energy. The Erebos station has two trawling arms that absorbs this energy, stores it into mammoth batteries, which every so months get shipped back for Wayland Yutani to sell or do whatever they with. In fact, the Setarina, the ship that you're on, is also a plasma harvester and tanker that has been modified by Captain Lugar. So it does also basically kind of suck in plasma, and it helps you use that to power its engines. Not fully, but but pretty close. It uses it a lot, especially once it gets to the closer to the black hole. You've even noticed over the last like day, you can hear the engines kind of like moving a little bit faster, a little bit more efficiently as you get closer and closer to this.
Well,
Is it safe to say that that's a pretty dangerous job?
Yes.
The trawling and everything. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like Michael Bishop said, being so close to the black hole, there are side effects that can happen from uh, you are all scientists. Probably because of the gravitational pull from the black hole and whatever other things are going on, it's gonna affect somebody's mind in some cases.
well, I'll be monitoring that, some of the effects of this radiation and things on our human biology. I'm going to suggest to the captain that we may have to go on board the ship, but like, for retiring at night or whatever the night cycle is, that we return to the ship, even though we're docked, and try to limit our contact as much as we can.
Well, she says, my job is to drop you off, pick up some of the batteries to take back, and then head back, and then I'll circle back around in a couple months. So you're more than welcome to stay on the ship as long as you want. And I'm not a company agent, but just to remind you, all that you were promised is contingent upon you staying on the Erebos and doing your job.
So
But if you want to leave, I will be more than happy to take you back. I'm just
no,
letting
I
you
was
know.
under the impression that you would be staying for the duration, but that is fine. So we will.
I'll be coming back to get you, but
Oh, I
it,
know.
it,
But I was under the impression we would be staying. Also, I suppose we need to get settled in and speak with folks, and then I guess we can go about trying to determine if these with our experts determine if these signals that these creatures are making, or if they're even creatures, see if it's something sentient, and then work on communication.
Best not to develop any kind of relationship with the prisoners in case we have to invoke the Vega Convention, and use the prisoners. You know what I mean.
Mhm. So the captain says that you are about 8 hours out from the station and the black hole. Um, the time, passes as you're kind of getting things ready, doing what you would, normally do. I'm also going to give you all the maps right now for Erebos. Um, we will, as we go through each level, there's, several levels to this. And again, all these maps are stored within the computer, so you would have ready access to them. And so you could study these if you want. But you start to get close, and after a couple hours, you can see the glow of the black hole, and it is both impressive and terrifying at the same time. Just as it was described, it is a black hole that is essentially sucking everything in this galaxy into it, including the two stars. And so it is lit by a glowing orange and red fire that swirls into the black hole only to disappear. At first, Erebos, the station, is just this black dot on the horizon, essentially. But as you get closer and closer, you start to see how large it is. The station itself, it has, I think, 10, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different levels. It's about a kilometer tall. And it spins around essentially to maintain gravity within within it, the station itself. I'm trying to think what else about it. You can see the two trawling arms that are reaching out, that are, you can kind of see the glow of plasma kind of being sucked into the trawling arms as it takes in the energy and converts it into whatever form to be stored within the batteries. As you approach Erebos, you all kind of gather within the cockpit of the Ceterina, looking at this as the captain is moving to the captain and Gray are, kind of hitting buttons. The captain is piloting the ship. And you can see this little light start going off on the ship, indicating that the automated docking beacon from the Erebos is going off. But you also notice that the Erebos itself, something doesn't look quite right. You can see that on several of the decks, it has external damage, almost like they were hit by it was hit by meteors. And a lot of the levels, many of the levels where you would expect to see lights, there are no lights. It's like the power has gone out in many of the levels. The captain seems to notice this as well, but isn't saying anything because on deck G, which is the main concourse, a docking port starts to extend. You can see across the label of it, it says Terminal 2. And she starts to get close to it, maneuver towards it, and kind of looks at you all and say, well, It's up to you all. I can orbit the station for a little bit more if you want to see it all. We can I
Well,
can try to connect to the umbilical, or you can spacewalk to it. Do you have a
have
preference?
have you contacted them? Is there anything wrong?
She said, I've been trying to contact them. I'm not getting any response.
Perhaps we should attach and then send security over there.
Yeah, and the sergeant is already dressed in the ape suit, kind of that like big padded
Hmm.
thing with the helmet that swings shut. And she's got her combat shotgun like right there of yeah, absolutely. I was looking to make an impression, but yeah, there's no chance we're letting any of you smart people step on until we've at least established some contact.
Okay.
Well, do you think that
Sergeant,
we
allow me to
should?
accompany you. I'm trained in medical aid as well.
I am a medical doctor. Just in case, I'm going to go aboard as well.
Okay,
Do you
well,
think that we
stay
should fly
behind me
around
and
it?
the android.
Do you think we should fly around it a few times and see if there's any signs? I don't want us to walk on board and have there have been a mutiny and the prisoners are in charge and murder us all for this ship.
How severe does the area that's been struck by, sorry, I keep wanting to say MMOD strike. Yeah,
The
the area
meteors.
that was struck on the station.
You're basically looking at what would be the starboard side of the Erebos. You can see, some decks look, worse than others. Um, in fact, there a couple of or one of the decks. I think it's I can't. I'll have to say for sure which deck it is. But one of the decks you can actually see where it has had basically the you can see to the inside of the station. The rest of the decks don't look as bad, but you can definitely see damage to them. The decks where deck E is where you can see to the inside, the food and supply deck. Um,
And it
the Go on.
it looks like it's been torn away by an impact.
On that deck, you can see, where it looks like meteors had hit it and had severely damaged it enough to create holes. However, the rest of the decks, they do have damage to it. You can see, damage, but you cannot, it's not as bad, is what I'm trying to say. And you do recall that Bishop did say that they brought an asteroid into the station. I don't believe he said where it was, though.
I'm
And do you
wondering if
feel
that
safe
mm,
with the with docking?
Are you asking the captain?
Yeah,
I mean, I've been through worse. I mean, we can't
but the
sit out here
umbilical looks
forever.
okay.
She kind of looks at it. Yeah, I think the umbilical looks okay. And you can see too, it looks intact. It does look like it's you could dock to it and go across it, with little issue that no more than you would normally have, going across an umbilical.
But we need
Just
more
remember,
information
Sergeant.
about what's going on there. Um, we don't know. I mean, I'm a little worried about leaving us all there for 2 months when clearly some major catastrophic event has happened. I think we need to find out what's going on and assess the situation. See, like obviously they cannot communicate with us, and if it looks like something extremely dangerous, we will have to abandon mission, I would assume. And we would retreat, Captain. So I think we need to get more information, and we're not going to get it from out here or from the ship.
did we get a visual like image of Warden Sykes and the staff, or is that just names that we know?
It's just names that you know.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
I do
so
see
we
that
don't know
Deck
what they look
E,
like.
yeah, Deck E appears to
No.
be possibly crew quarters. So they could have suffered some casualties in this event. And I imagine it may have taken out their comms array as well, which may be why we're not hearing from them. But we should proceed with caution.
It's possible too, these are old damages that have been done to the station and they just don't have the repair teams to have ever repaired them.
Yeah, but they're not.
Either way, this accretion disk gives off hard X-rays, cosmic rays, gamma rays. You want to limit your time exposed. We need to make sure that the protection is also in place in the station.
Am I wrong in assuming that the many pointy things sticking out the top of the station are probably the communications?
Yes.
Well, in that case, as we're getting ready to, it sounds like we're gonna just dock and take the, step in, which sounds good to me.
Okay.
Everybody take a bracelet. Uh, she holds up a bunch of PDT bracelets. She is a tracker for them, so as long as you have them, she has a device that can find you within the station within limits.
All right. So as the sergeant is handing those out, everybody make a mobility roll. Just to kind of refresh everybody's mind on how the roles work, you have skills and attributes. Each skill is associated with an attribute. You add up what your attribute value is for that skill and the skill value, and you roll those that number of d6s. If you don't have anything in that skill, you just roll the attribute. What I care about is however many sixes you got, because those are successes. Nobody has panic dice, so we'll go into that later. All right, so some of you so far have succeeded.
No success.
Okay, so for all of a sudden, an alarm starts going off, and the set arena itself starts to shift violently. You on the screens, you can see where all these warnings are going off about gravitational fluctuations and gravitational pulls, and the ship itself starts to just kind of careen towards Erebos. Those of you who did not get any successes, you get thrown to the ground. And take a point of damage. Those who succeeded, you're able to kind of grab what you need to. Unfortunately, Captain Lugar, you see her smack her head on the console, and she just drops to the ground out cold. The ship itself is kind of spinning and careening towards Erebos Station. You can see that Erebos Station has also been affected by this gravitational pull, but you can see that these very large thrusters on it are kind of being launched to compensate for this. And as you're being kind of spun towards the station, you can see the viewport starting getting pelted with meteorites. So what do you all do?
Is there a crew that the captain has on board? That's anybody like at the navigation of this thing?
It's just her and Gray, and you know that Gray is incapable of piloting the ship, so it's gonna have to be one of you.
I'll run for the controls.
Yeah.
Don't know if I'm the
Doctor,
best for
get to the captain.
What is Comtech?
Comtech is like computer controls, hacking, things along those lines.
Would that help with flying the ship?
No, flying the ship is going to be a piloting role for whoever is gonna run to the controls and try to do it. And Gray even is trying to he's hitting buttons to kind of turn off the alarms and that, but he does look at you and say, "I am unable to fly this ship. One of you must do this." Again, the ship is careening towards the Erebos. You can see it getting closer and closer.
I'm gonna grab Dr. Navarre and basically find I'm imagining like some cargo webbing to brace impact against.
Okay.
Hold still, sir.
I'll run for the console and try to see if I can.
I'm observing. This is fascinating to me. Where did this come from? This gravity spike and these asteroids from out of a black hole?
Lark,
I
are
have
you able to
1-6.
do something?
I I have 1 6. I know there's a mechanic to sort of push rolls in Alien, correct?
Yes, but you're synthetic, and synthetics cannot push
Can't do
rolls
that. Okay.
because you take panic to do so.
That's right. Okay.
So you rolled.
Just
You,
one.
you run up. You grab the controls. Are starting to wrangle with them, and you said you rolled 1 success.
Correct.
All right, that's really all that you needed. Go ahead and give me another d6 roll, and let me know what you get.
4.
Four. Awesome. So you are doing everything you can to pilot this ship as best you can. It's very difficult with the gravitational pull and the fact that you're not used to piloting this ship. It's got its own unique controls to it, its own unique modifications that the captain has made, and so you do your best. What ends up happening is you start to go around towards the port side of the Erebos station, and as you kind of start to crest over and start to see the port side, you see that several of the decks are engulfed in fire. You can tell that it's a plasma fire just from the color of the fire, and using the best you can. The Setarina crashes into deck F on the port side. Everybody, feels the impact and you can hear the scraping of metal as the Setarina gets just stuck into the Erebos. After what seems like forever, you finally come to a stop. There are lights going off. There's steam coming out of pipes all over the place. Alarms going off. What are you all gonna do?
I'll crawl over to the captain and try to help her, try
Yeah,
to revive her.
Okay.
I'm
The
gonna as well. I'm a medical doctor. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
just to see what's going on there. I'm asking every one of our crewmates too. Is everyone all right?
Minor
Yes,
injury.
sir.
Minor injury. Do you need anything, Doctor
No,
Navari?
I can treat it myself.
All right. Do you go ahead? So whoever is looking at the captain, go ahead and give me is it a medical aid roll.
I'm not able. So
You can still roll the attribute, which is
I did.
Empathy.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay. You got no successes.
I've no success.
Of course, I'll go take a backup look. I've got like 4 empathy and 2 medical aid. So
So you can see that she's okay. She's stable. She's got a nasty cut on her head that between Dr. Navar and Ejiri, you're able to stem the blood, but she is out cold. She needs to get to the medical center within the Setarina. Gray, as he's hitting buttons to turn off alarms and starting to do stop steam from flying out of various pipes, he volunteers to take her if you would like.
that would be good. We don't really know what's going on over there yet because the ship already seemed to be a little out of whack before that storm hit, that meteor storm hit, the asteroid hit. We need to we need to figure out a plan because I can't just send you both in there yet. If something's happened to the captain, we can't just send you in there without knowing what's going on. Can we? Should we? What do you think? Do you think we should go on to the ship now?
No,
with all of us.
let's get external cams first and see what we're dealing with. It's a good
Okay.
question though. The sergeant's basically going up to the entryway and seeing what kind of external
Mhm.
view they have.
Well,
Check for
we
breaches.
crashed,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's not
you
gonna be
crashed
good.
into the space station, to the Erebos.
Yeah,
Where's the
so
status of our
do
ship?
we have any leaks?
So somebody go ahead and give me a Comtech roll. to see if you can figure out, everything that is potentially wrong.
I'll do that. Fun rolling a lot of dice. Uh, four successes.
Awesome.
Wow.
That is definitely enough. So, a couple things. When you roll above one success, you can basically do what's called stunts. For each success above one, you can do one stunt. And for Comtech, you can basically save the roll for +1 for later on. You can basically not roll again for the exact same situation, do whatever you're doing in half the time, get new or unexpected information, hide all traces of your action, or just show off. So you, Colonel, you get to pick a couple of those. You definitely get the
New,
information you want,
new
but
and unexpected.
all right. So first, you're kind of hitting the main terminal, and after about a minute, you're able to determine that there are several things wrong with the set arena. First off, the ship's batteries, when you smashed into the Erebos, it flash drained them. So you are going to need to find replacement batteries for the ship or somehow charge them up. Additionally, you need a thruster compression coil. This is basically a nothing part, but unfortunately, without the coil, the main thrusters won't work, so you're not going anywhere without it. And looking at the viewports, both with what the sergeant is looking at, you see that the set arena has basically jammed itself into the Erebos. It is wedged solidly in there. In order to get the set arena out, somebody is likely going to need to use some power tools to basically cut it free. Unfortunately, you don't have those power tools. You look in the inventory, you don't have those power tools on the set arena. The new and unexpected information. Where you crashed, if you look at the map of the Erebos on deck F, you are in the cell block on the port side is where you have crashed into it. You can even see looking outside, just the fire is also not quite engulfing the set arena, but it is definitely affecting it. In fact, you find a warning that the fire, the plasma fire, is raising the internal temperature of the set arena. It's based on the computer's estimates, it will raise the internal temperature of the ship 5 degrees every 6 hours, which doesn't seem like a lot, but eventually that's going to cause an issue with the life support systems on the set arena. And the last thing that you are able to see is that despite the fact that there is a huge, fire going on, right in the cell block area that you crashed into, there appears to be a junction that if you could get to it, you could probably bypass the fire and get into the Erebos station. On the map, it is junction F8.
I showed that piece to the sergeant, and I warn everybody, it's going to get hot fast in here. And there's no way with the equipment we have that we can get this ship off here.
You think the Erebus has that kind of equipment? Uh, Obviously, it's a big station.
Yeah,
Better.
that one would hope. But these corporations, they only put what they need.
Well, I I'll mention it now that I'll offer my assistance if I can. My grandfather worked on Union ships, and I have some familiarity with heavy machinery, if that helps. Um, I see we're kind of limited on what we know how to do here, and I'm way out of practice.
Yeah. Colonel, do you have any information on whether that junction and everything else is pressurized? Like, is any of the station breathable? Or are we?
Is
You
it?
you can't see, but you would know that there has to be at least some breathable air because of the fire.
True.
And yeah, I won't make anybody roll to know this because again, you're all scientists. This is probably basic science knowledge to some of you. Um, you do know that if you could somehow, I don't know, like open the air ducts on the floor or something like that, that might, kind of snuff out the plasma fire on this level.
Hmm.
There may be other ways to do it too, but that's, the first, thought that comes into your mind. At this
Yeah, that's a
point,
fast way.
yeah, sorry, go on.
That's a fast way to put a fire out. Hey, whale, it's there.
Perhaps we can activate the fire suppression system. I'm surprised it wasn't activated.
It may have run out of juice or whatever. If we can close the plasma conduits, then we might be able to just cut off the source of fuel. But the fire is pretty extensive.
It is from what you can see. It does go. It's not just this level. You can see that there's fire on several other levels as well. But it mostly seems contained to the port side of the ship. The starboard side, you saw none of this.
And we
Let's
see
let's try
no
to save our ship.
evidence. Yeah, we see no evidence at all of any prisoners attempting to put out the fire.
Correct. You see actually no evidence of life whatsoever.
Yeah, they might be. They might have taken care of our prisoner problem already. A technical question the for the GM. So the way I'm kind of imagining this is you've got the black hole, and around the black hole you've got an accretion disk.
Yes.
Um, are we on level with the accretion disk, or are we somewhere above the disk?
I
The reason I'm asking is it would seem to me that most debris, like meteorites, would have been pulled into the accretion disk a million years ago when there shouldn't be much going on up above.
Well, here's the thing. Um, I think Bishop may have said this, but this black hole is an anomaly in that it's only, as far as it shouldn't be here. It's new. It's maybe 70 years old,
Oh,
maybe 80 years old.
okay.
Nobody
Well,
knows
then
for
that makes
sure,
sense.
but in previous, like 100 years ago, type astronomy, this black hole wasn't here. The galaxy was here. The planets and the sun was here. So millions of years ago, this was a star system.
So the accretion disk is still in formation. It's
Yes.
mostly there, but it's still
Yeah, but it
lots
is
of
a
debris.
complete anomaly. You're right. It takes, hundreds of thousands of years for something like that, for a star to collapse. Um, this happened seemingly overnight at some point.
Yeah. Well, then there is debris flying around. That's dangerous.
Correct.
Sergeant, do you think the right idea is to vent the decks that are burning?
You guys are the experts on that. That makes sense to me. Let's vent them.
We have to get
What
over
kind
there
of,
first.
yeah, what kind of extra weaponry do we have for you guys?
You hold on one second. Um, the on
I
the
have a
ship,
flashlight.
yeah, whatever, gear you all have on the ship is kind of what you have. There's no like weapons uh
Okay.
bay or cache on the ship. It's essentially a trawler. Its purpose
Yeah.
is to go and collect energy and transport things. The captain may have a gun, but
Yep.
you're probably the most armed person on the ship. Yeah, I mean, and obviously the if it's a prison, they're going to have weapons somewhere.
Yeah, I see the armory on our map. Do we have the map, or is that
Yes,
kind of
yes,
a
you
okay?
have all
Perfect.
of these maps, and they're all labeled as you see them.
Okay,
Now,
perfect.
we don't really have any way of scanning to see if there's life forms.
Not from here, no. You're going to have to get onto the Erebos in order to do that. You should be able to. I mean, it is a prison, so they're going to be
Right.
tracking all life forms on the space station. But you're going to have to, get in, and then you probably use the mother computer in order to do so.
If of course their sensors haven't all burned up in the
Correct.
plasma.
I'm just
Um,
hoping
At
some of those androids are still kicking. If anything, the
they don't
synthetics will make it.
they don't need oxygen.
Exactly.
at
Speaking
this
of
point, go on. I'm sorry.
speaking of oxygen, I hope there's at least space suits in case we do have to face some vacuum.
Yeah, so I apologize. So to let you know what the set arena has, it has let's see here, four power loaders, so those big suits from Aliens, four harpoon grappling guns, 200 meters of line, three bolt guns with four shots each, four electrical toolkits and med kits, four med kits, I mean. Some maintenance jacks and cutting torches. You also have eight rebreather masks. I apologize. There are six pistols on here, six EVA pistols with one reload each, and then six Eco 2 all world system survival suits with six air each. To let you know, the Eco 2 survival suits will allow you to walk in space. They are meant to do that. However, they have minimal, i.e., none protection from radiation, biologics, fire, and so on. So, but you do have
If
those with you. So,
logistically, can we keep the Erebus between us if we have to go out into space, between us and the black hole?
yeah, oh yeah, I mean, you're far enough away that you're not being pulled into the black hole. Yeah,
Well,
and you can,
we're avoiding the radiation coming from the black hole.
well, I mean, there's radiation everywhere because of the black hole. So I mean, yes, you're doing as best you can, but the ship, the space station is spinning, so eventually you are going to be, you will see the black hole as it comes around, and you eventually. So there's no way to completely avoid any radiation.
All right.
So the
Is
fire
And
gets
Colonel,
us, the X-rays get us, the gamma rays get us, the prisoners get us. Am I missing anything?
But you get
now
tenure for this.
what are what are your orders, Colonel?
I think first step is to put the fire out by evacuating that deck, um, and then see where we are.
So one thing that I forgot, I think everybody, aside from Lark, gains one stress for this happening.
Makes sense.
So as a reminder, when you gain stress, it means that you will now roll a stress die with any roll. It works the same as your other dice in that if you roll a six, it's a success. However, on only your stress die, if you roll a one, then that's bad. You're going to need to roll panic, and we'll walk through that when that happens. So with that, what do you all want to do? The Gray, I think said came in and said that the captain is stable. He can work on repairs on the ship, but he kind of reiterates the information to you as to what is needed in order to fully repair the ship and kind of pull it off. And he's also concerned about the rising temperature of from the fire.
Sounds like we must prioritize getting the fire out. And then once the fire is out, then perhaps we can put on some of the suits just for oxygen purposes in case we go and accidentally end up somewhere where the life support isn't quite right. And then start looking around to see what the hell happened here. See if we can find anyone living. prisoner or otherwise.
Yep.
Hopefully not.
If
But
if you can get me over there safely, I think that I might be able to shut down the plasma conduits. It'll take a while, but I can go floor by floor.
Um, okay, yeah, I think I should be able to get us to junction uh F8, and that is going to require a spacewalk. Is that correct?
You think that maybe based on the angle in which you crashed, you can probably extend the Setarina's umbilical to get you close to it. That will definitely require a roll, or you could just completely spacewalk to it.
Um, I mean, if we have harpoon guns, my thought process was just shooting a line next to that door and then basically
Yep.
carabine onto it and then go.
The harpoon guns are space harpoon guns, so it's definitely, doable for you to do that to shoot and with the line and then hook to it and do spacewalk across.
We'll just have to remember to cut it on the way out.
Yep. So, is that your plan?
I think so. Is anybody
Shouldn't we try to put the fire
got any
out first
suits?
by
I think
by
we have to be
flushing?
on there to do it,
I
but I could
thought
be
I
wrong.
thought on our ship we could
No,
just do our deck. Oh no,
Our
sorry.
ship's
no.
not on fire.
Yeah, your ship's not on
Misunderstood.
fire yet.
Okay,
But
got it.
in order to you're gonna have to get onto the Erebos in order to open the airlocks or do whatever is needed in order to put out the fire.
Would it be a manual action to unlock the airlocks, or is there a terminal that would control these?
The airlocks there.
Mhm.
Good question. That is. I think it's going, well, yes, both. You could do both. You don't know the status of the airlocks at the moment, but you probably can control them from a terminal within the ship. Again, this is dependent upon Mother working because Mother kind of is like the central mainframe that controls everything. Or you could manually do it as well, should you need to.
I think
If we
to
go by what we saw in the movies, there'll be a big gigantic thing to
I think
manually
to
open.
reduce the risk to crew safety, I should be a part of the team that goes to Erebos to.
I mean, unless someone is desperate to stay behind, as loath as I am, everybody grab a pistol. Don't shoot yourself in the head. This is the safety, but we need everybody at once unless somebody feels otherwise.
we're best to stay together. Are we able to secure the door or the hatch to the ship so that no prisoners get in, or anything we can
Uh,
do to make sure when we close the door behind us, or is
Oh yeah.
will
Well, Gray is staying. Gray says that he's going to be staying on board in order to, do minor repairs that are going to be needed,
okay,
and
because
so
that
he will definitely close the door. He
okay.
he says basically he can lock it. The all of your suits are going to have comms units built in that you can talk back to Gray should you need to, as well as with each other.
We have to bring the captain with us because we have to get her to one of the like a more sophisticated med bay than what they have on board too, don't we?
We don't know what they have over there.
Several
Uh,
med labs we know of, whether or not they're operational.
Like a infirmary for 99 prisoners. They must have some sort of medical
there's
facility.
a
On this deck, they have an inmate infirmary.
Ah, so
let's
perhaps we should go like also work on getting the doctor there to see if we can find anyone there and also see what we
Let's,
can do. I'll see what I can do to see if we can get her back to consciousness.
I suggest though that we get the fire out first.
Yes, that's definitely the priority. Thank you. This is so beyond my wheelhouse.
Mm.
I'm a scientist, a doctor. We've lost our
Cross training.
I have every confidence in the sergeant though and the colonel.
yep, stay calm. We'll tackle this one problem at a time.
All right.
She's going to get this industrial harpoon.
All right. So, you all start to go through and pull into your pull on your suits because you all are going, correct? From what I heard. Okay, awesome. Um, yeah, that didn't work. Okay. So is anybody going to take any other pieces of equipment than, just the, what you have on your sheet? Is there anything else that you'd like to take?
I'll
Well,
take a pistol.
you mentioned, yeah, I'm definitely going to take a pistol, but you mentioned we had the device for detecting different types of radiation. And,
The CBRNs, yeah, I believe a couple
yeah.
of you have CBRNs.
But you did say that there is just because we're open, we're probably being exposed to radiation. Maybe I should bring that. I should bring one of those with me as well, just to in case we are uncertain about a certain area having more radiation than another, or because
Well,
of
the
some,
Zeta Arena didn't have any other than the two that you brought. So whoever has those, I think
I
it was Navarre and who else?
yeah.
myself.
Okay, yeah. So
I assume it's like a little kit that straps onto our sides.
yeah,
It's
it's
weird.
got like a little Geiger counter on it, as well as a couple other things. So
Star
that
Trekky. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm gonna
exactly.
take that. I'm
Do
gonna
we have
take
anything
and a
like
flashlight.
yeah, laser blowtorch type things? I know that there's something like that in this RPG.
You have sorry. Yes, there are a couple cutting torches that you could take. Might not be a bad idea, again, because you don't know what you're running into. But they're essentially like what you would expect a cutting torch to look. If you remember in Aliens where they're sealing the doors with the torches, that's essentially what they are.
Yeah, the sergeant's absolutely taking one of those.
Okay.
Oh, and I'm also taking my med kit just because I'm a
Okay.
dyna.
I'm not going to worry about encumbrance or anything like that unless it's obvious that you're getting over encumbered. So I'm not going to worry about tracking how much everybody's carrying and all that.
Does
I
anybody
want to
have an
grab some of the
electrical?
electrical.
Yeah, perfect.
The what? I'm sorry.
I want to
Oh,
grab some electrical toolkit, at
okay,
least
yeah,
one, maybe two.
okay, yeah. They're fairly small. They'll give you let's say that they'll give you a bonus to a Comtech roll if you're repairing, actually just any Comtech roll, potentially heavy machinery as well, depending on what you're doing to the heavy machinery.
Well, if they're small and I can carry all four without any issue, I'll take them.
I
Unless
mean,
somebody
remember
wants
you're
another.
putting on these suits that are very big and bulky.
Hmm?
They're essentially like bulky space suits. If you remember at the end of if you've seen Alien, the suit that Ripley puts on in the last scene when she's on the ship, that big bulky suit, that's essentially what you're putting on. So you can carry some things, but it's not, it doesn't have like pockets for everything. So I would say that you can comfortably carry two.
Okay.
Right. All right. So you all kind of pull this up. You go into the airlock between you and the Erebos. The airlock opens up. Gray is on the other side, staying in constant contact with you. Also, to let you know, your comms unit, if you only want to talk to one or more people and not have anybody else hear it, you are able to do that as well. You also have a little heads up display, so you can have like a little heads up display of like the map or whatever you want as you're walking around. Sergeant, you have the harpoon grappling gun and with connected with the meters of line. Where are you going to try to shoot it into?
She is going to basically, if you think of the door, try and get it
Hmm.
just off to the side, so that it's not like we can still open the door, but we're kind of right there to get to it if we can.
Okay. Yeah.
And she is gonna do a little quick prayer, just to protect us from the dark god's judgment as she takes aim and fires this thing.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and give me a ranged combat roll.
All right. There's no way I can possibly fail this. And dice, including the panic. That is two successes.
Awesome. So in this particular case, the stunts that you typically do with ranged combat are very combat based, but you hit it exactly to where you want. You get a very solid connection into, just next to the door of the junction. And you're able to also tether the line on your side. So all of your suits have like little carabiners or whatever they would have for you to hook onto the whatever the line, and you can all start going over if that's what you're doing. All right, everybody, as you're going through, give me a mobility roll at you're in 0G, so unless you have a special ability that gives you 0G movement, which some of you do, you're doing this at -1. So you remove 1 dice from your pool. Not a panic die. I mean, eventually you will, but a panic die is always the last that you remove.
And if we have one stress, you had a stress dice.
Yes. So stress dice. I'm sorry. If you have one, all of you except for Lark, who doesn't get stress, you add 1 stress die. And again, just let me know if you roll a 1 on that.
So if I normally would do this like at 6, 3 agility, 3 mobility, I lose one of my base die, so I get 4. But I also
5.
have to throw. Yep.
Right.
Oh, I would get 5 and instead of 6, and then I throw in the stress die on top of that, right?
Yep.
Okay. Thanks.
I did not succeed, and I did roll a 1 on my stress dice.
Okay.
I got 3 6s, 3 successes, and one of them was on the stress die, was the 6.
Okay. And just remember, it only matters if you roll the 1 on your stress die. If you roll it on one of your base die, that's fine. So all of you start to go over. In which order are you going over?
Charge first.
Yeah, I'll go first if no one's objecting.
We'll say I go second.
Okay.
I'll go third.
All right. And then
Colonel,
Lark,
do you want to bring up the
be
rear?
last,
Would you
or-
like me? I can bring up the rear.
Okay.
All right. So you start to go over, and Sergeant, you go first, kind of, hopping, through space. The Doctor Navarre goes next, and then, as you're giving each other about 5-10 meters in between each other in order to go. It's about from where you were kind of cooked into the cell block. It's probably about 50 feet or so that you have to travel through space. Dr. Navarre, go ahead and roll a panic roll. So the way that we do this is you roll a d6 and then add your current panic level to whatever you roll. So you have a panic level of 1 right now, so you roll a d6 and add 1 to the result, and tell me what the result is.
Okay. Is panic recorded on here?
Yeah, there should be a place on your character sheet to record panic.
Panic. Well, remember that it's 1. I don't see it on here. I'm sorry, say that again. Okay. I roll a d6.
Roll a d6 and then add your current panic level to the whatever you roll. I'm sorry. So there, if you're using depending on which sheet you're using, there should be something that says stress level. That's what
I got
you'll.
stress.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
That's the.
So I roll this, get a 4, and I add
1 to it.
stress.
Yep.
Okay,
So
so
you
5.
get a 5. You keep it together. You start to
Snags
go
on
over.
something.
Yeah, it snags. You can see the fire below you as you're kind of going across, and you start to hyperventilate a little, but you're able to kind of keep it together as you keep going over. To let you all know, because we will definitely come through this or experience this later on. The higher you roll on your panic roll, the worse it is. Typically, though, unless you roll unless you get a 10 or above, you do not fail the roll. So just because you roll a 1 on one of your stress die does not necessarily mean that you failed the roll. So you get over to where the junction is. There's like a little door there. But Sergeant, as you start to kind of maneuver through it or try to get it open, it's stuck. Probably from the crash or the fire or something. You just can't get it open. You've got some of the equipment with you. It's going to require somebody to do a heavy machinery roll in order to get it open.
Let me take a look at that. I'll roll
All
heavy
right.
machinery.
Okay.
These old doors sometimes stick. And I got 3 6s.
Nice. So you are very quickly able to open up this door. Yeah, you just do. In fact, you kind of make the sergeant look a little bad because of how easy you were able to do this. The door slides open, and you are all able to get in to this hallway. As you all get in, you're able to shut the door behind you, and you now have gravity. Um, where you are at, you are on the map where junction F8. However, it is extremely hot in here. You can feel just the heat from the fire that's burning in the cell block near you. Um, you've got the map. Which way would you like to go?
We have any idea where like the main plasma conduit junction would be?
Well, I mean, it's not really like if there is a conduit. I mean, there are conduits, because it's sucking up that plasma. The fire is essentially a fire, though. So it's not like burning from the conduits that you can tell, because they wouldn't be running the conduits through the prison cells. Um, so that's, you can definitely find some of the conduits, but you're going to need to find a terminal in order to figure out where those conduits are, or more importantly, where the control stations for those conduits are.
Well, if
Okay.
we're looking the fastest way, I think we are saying, Colonel, that if we open the airlocks, we might be able to. There's an airlock just north and east of here on the map. If we're kind of looking at it.
Yeah. Um, but what about people living here? We don't want anyone to die just
No, they would
Uh,
die from the
It's
without
fire.
making sure they're
Right?
safe.
We
Well,
haven't
they're
seen
going to
where the
die
fire is
if
not.
anyone anywhere, even though these are prison cells, right?
Say that one more time.
We haven't seen anyone, even though these are
Nope.
prison cells around here.
You
So
have not seen anyone.
I would
I think
think
we're
that
underdressed.
they've probably evacuated if they're even still alive. And they would die anyway if this fire keeps going. So we should probably just get the fire out, and then we can reseal the hatch so that oxygen starts to be replaced and
Have
goes
we
in.
even seen any bodies?
You have not.
Curious. Perhaps they
Strange.
evacuated before.
But I mean, you're basically just in a hallway right now. You can down. If you're looking at the map to the left towards the center of the floor, there's a door probably about 15 meters from you on the opposite side. You see two doors, probably about 30 or 40 meters down. The lights are off in here. You do have flashlights in your helmets.
And there's
And
no
we may
sound
not
coming
even be
over
able to
the
get through.
loudspeakers.
No, there's definitely no sound.
We may not be able to get through those doors. Remember, this is a prison.
have cutting torches at least, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it may slow us down.
yep, we gotta treat ourselves as the only people left and worry about ourselves first. These guys can deal with it as they have. So,
I'm not really comfortable with that, Sergeant, but I understand your position. I I will do my best to save people.
yeah,
All right.
These are
that's
probably
your
bloodthirsty
decision.
murderers, so I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Corporate slaves, you mean?
Murderers are saints. They're going to die in a fire if we don't put the fire out. We could probably save more lives by putting this fire out.
Well, let's get to the door. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. Which door are you going to? The one that's kind of towards the airlock or the one that's toward the center of the floor?
Well, there are two airlocks, correct?
Yeah, there's a port airlock and there is a starboard airlock. The port airlock, you're on the port side of the ship or the station. You're closer to that.
What deck are we on? Sorry.
You're on deck F, the
If we go,
corrections deck.
yeah. If we go towards the center, if we did end up wanting to send some towards the airlock or not, that looks to be kind of the central area. We might have better luck with, uh,
That
I
chute
don't know.
does lead down into what the maps are labeling the central hub.
Yeah,
Based on that you suspect that chute goes all the way up and down. That's the kind of like the central way that somebody would traverse through the different levels.
And that's also how we could get to the astrometrics lab, so I could make sure we save all the data from this observation point.
yep.
Because nobody said it, am I correct in assuming that you're leaving your suits on?
Yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right.
Yeah, because we're about to open the airlocks and just take the oxygen out of this level, right? Like that's kind of the end goal. Or am I
Essentially,
miss?
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, that's the plan that I'm hearing.
yeah,
If we can get to the two corridors leading north
yeah.
and towards the chute and close them before we open up the airlock,
Mhm.
then we only risk everybody if there are still prisoners, but the guards and everybody would be up the other end. Personally, I
Where's the
don't think
fire
there's
again?
anybody alive.
The fire is from what you saw is on in the port side cells. It could be in other areas of the station as well on this level. You were just able to see it from there.
Right. Let's lock off these cells and then vent the air. We can go systematically.
Well, we're opening all these hallways, right? Basically to the fire, so that when we open the airlock, it'll get everything all at once,
Yes,
right?
I
At this
think we
level,
should
at
try to
least.
I think we should try to keep the path to the chute safe
That's fine.
without cutting through the
Yeah,
doors.
there's a door there that I think we can do that too, right? Kind of that door right below the chute. We'll be passing by it.
Yes.
Yeah, let's check that and then just kind of work our way around towards what is it? Airlock F6? The map's just small enough.
I will send you all multiple maps, so some are easier to read than others. But yeah, airlock F6 is the airlock on the port side, so the right side of the map. It's
The
switched. It's
icon
backwards for some reason.
Oh yeah.
the icon that's just above cell 6, it looks a little bit like a circle with four dots in it. What does that icon stand for?
I'm sorry, which one?
If you look at cell 6 and then go straight up near the hallway to the chute.
The icon with the circle and the little dots.
Yeah,
Question. 1 second, and I can tell you.
because
I like
I'm
seeing the
definitely
med
looking
kit
for a
one.
terminal.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think that's the symbol for terminal. Give me a minute, and I'll look it up. Terminals tend to look like little computers, but let me
That
double
makes
check on that.
sense. Maybe that's like a weapons storage thing or something. If it's not a terminal, I don't think it matters that much. But so we're talking about going to the corridor that runs top to bottom and then upwards.
Um, yeah, I think so. Can I just draw a little?
All right. So yeah, you start going up down the hallway, up that way, and you get to the first door right next to the door that's I'll say north, just based on the orientation to of where like the inmate next to where the inmate gallery is, going straight up. You open that door. It is able to be opened. It does look like it is supposed to be locked, but for whatever reason, you're not sure why. Maybe it's because the systems are offline or somebody unlocked them. That door is unlocked. You open it up. The hallway is clear. You don't see any fire damage in here, but you can continue going up. I assume that's what you all are gonna keep doing.
The
On the
circle with
walk
the
down the
dots,
hallway. Oh, go ahead, Tom.
the circle with the dots is an intercom.
Yes, thank you. I just found that.
Hmm.
So as we walk along the hallway, the cells are empty.
The cells, yeah, oh yeah, I guess those are cell doors into there. They are empty. You suspect that the hallway, kind of farther south of those, the cells 16 through 20, those are likely the ones that are on fire.
As we go by that intercom, I think I'm just gonna try it to see if I can reach anyone on the ship, see if there's anyone alive.
So you'll have to go the opposite way of where you were going.
Yeah,
Um,
that
it, okay,
oh,
you hit
let's stay
the
on the fire first.
right. Uh,
We know where it is.
so you are or are not gonna do the intercom. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not gonna do the
Okay.
intercom till
All right.
we come back. Once we
It's on our path, at least the one that the sergeant
Yeah,
has
I
drawn
put
up.
one in Zoom of just like a little red line that we're doing. Maybe.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought you were going a different way. I apologize. Okay, yeah. So you go that way. As you go through that door, the first door in the hallway that you originated from, you get into that kind of like junction. Again, these are unlocked. Looking kind of to the south, you definitely see that hallway is just ablaze. In fact, the heat in here is almost overwhelming. Even Lark, your temperature sensors are kind of bouncing all over the place. You head north. That is where the intercom is. Go ahead and Tetsu, you try the intercom. You hit it. What are you going to say? What are you going to do?
well, just general distress. Is there anyone aboard? Is there anyone aboard?
You kind of get static back. Then you hear what sounds like a voice, but it's kind of garbled within the static. You can't really make out what you're hearing, but you for a second there you definitely heard some voice, but it's just very staticky.
Huh. This intercom isn't working or the system's down, but I can't get a clear signal. But it sounded like somebody is alive out there somewhere.
Somebody's alive.
Your head on a swivel.
You're gonna so you continue going. Are you leaving the doors open?
I think so. That'll basically get all the air out, and then I guess we'll come back to the door that's keeping the fire there and hit that. Does that
Okay.
make sense to people?
All right. Um,
Don't we want to close this one that's straight north of the emergency station so the fire doesn't follow
Yeah.
us? And we'll come back and open that one later.
yep.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
So one thing, there is another scientist that is with you, Hedenstrom. He was on the ship. He's been very quiet. Do you want him to stay on the ship, or do you want him to be with you?
He's, he's my rival. I don't know.
What is he a doctor?
He, I believe, is a engineer, but let me validate that.
He can stay with Gray and work on the ship.
And with the captain who's injured?
Your head you shouldn't be here right now.
He is it just says scientist, biotechnology. So he does have a little bit of medical training. So if you want him to stay on the ship, he absolutely can.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
That was a GM forgetting that there was that silent PC that nobody took. All right. So you continue on, and I apologize. Did you say that you're going to keep them open?
I think, Colonel, you had
Well,
a theory towards it, right?
we we don't want to vent all of the oxygen from the station. We just want to vent the oxygen from the areas that are burning.
This
Right.
level at least.
So if we can
Right, yeah,
create a
the
barrier
areas
of
we pass
walls,
through, basically. Yeah. We'll want to keep the chute door and the med bay door closed for sure.
Hmm.
But as we go, if we leave them open, the only thing left is to go back then and open the cell door, if I'm understanding it right.
That you've seen so far.
well, are the cell doors solid or are they bars or bar?
They're not bars. They're solid, but they have like a very strong plexiglass there so that the guards could look in should they need to.
But there's maybe air holes in them so that the air will also vent from those.
No, they're solid.
Ugh.
I mean, there are vents throughout the station, and there's life support systems to create air and so on. So,
Certainly is
they would have that.
a lot of burning on a ship that's made out of metal. Maybe they made this ship out of wood, like in the old days.
Well, remember, it's not a regular fire; it's a plasma fire. So,
Plasma fire
and
burns
this,
everything.
yeah, you're basically sitting in a space station that draws in and holds plasma. So there's an almost unlimited amount of it to burn.
I I think what I would like to say about the doors is just because there's a lot of confusion going on. I think we'd like to have the area where the fire's in, like all available to get flushed out later into vacuum, but also protect ourselves as much as we can.
Right. Okay. All right. So with that, then, it sounds like you're with the area that you drew, um, or the line that you drew. You're heading north. You're gonna make a right into the hallway that kind of zigzags up and gets you to right about where junction G6 is into that hallway. Again, as you're going through, you're not seeing any signs of life. The doors are opening up for you. You get into that hallway with getting close to where airlock F6 is, basically the port airlock. As you all are walking down that hallway towards the room that says decontamination, the gravity that you feel the station shift again, and it feels odd to you, not like what you expected before. You can hear the thrusters go off, but you also your heads start to swim. You just feel, some of you feel nauseous. There's something extra going on. We're going to introduce something called NDDs, neurological distortion disorders. This is what Michael Bishop was talking about. So every time an NDD happens, you all gain a +1 to a. You're gonna have a stat now called NDD. Right now, your NDD stat is 1. So everybody except for Lark, roll a D6 and add 1 to it, and tell me what happens. What you get?
Do you want us to use our stress dice with this one as well?
No, you're just rolling a single
Okay.
D6.
4.
All right.
2.
5, 6, 5. All right, 2. All right. So anybody who rolled 5 or below, nothing happens. Again, everybody, goes a little bit off balance. Lark, you see this happen to everyone. You go off balance, you catch yourself. Dr. Navarre, you got a 6, correct?
Yes.
All right. All right. I will message you.
I'm getting too old for this shit.
The To let you know too, this is a cumulative number. So the next time it happens, it'll go up to 2. The next time it happens after that, it goes up to 3, and so on. And just like with panic rolls, the higher it gets, the worse it is for you. There are meds that can help reduce this. But
You got
okay,
to get to the infirmary.
yes. So you start going down that room after you all recover. You get to the decontamination room. The decontamination room is just completely blacked out. It is non-functioning. You don't believe that it's working. There's another decontamination room you can see on the map from across the ship on the other side that may work. But you get into the decontamination room, get through that to the airlock. Once you get into the airlock, what would you like to do?
Is there a control panel
Tiberius?
for the
Oh, yeah.
airlock? Are there mechanical mechanisms to manually operate it? I'm assuming the console is probably black because it sounds like this whole place is powered down. So are there mechanisms to open the door?
There are mechanisms. There's a little terminal here that you can try to see if it will work. That would likely, be a Comtech roll. Otherwise, you could, manually force it to open. There's like little manual controls. That's going to be a heavy machinery roll to do so.
Could we do that on a timer so we can get behind one of the doors, so we don't get sucked out in space when we do this?
In order to do that, you would have to do the Comtech roll to do so.
I can
Oh,
try that.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and give me a Comtech roll. Oh, well, yeah. Go. Oh, actually, hold on. Before you roll, where is everybody kind of standing while he is, the doctor is doing this? Let's just say she or he. I can't remember.
I think I would be just getting ready to retreat as he programs it, or maybe if only like, I want to make sure that we don't leave him alone. He's my buddy, but maybe just all be ready to retreat. We'll give it like a timer of however, like we're the nearest place we can go to get behind a door and not get oxygen sucked out. Give us enough time. Like, I don't know what would be like 20, like what would be our limits? Like, we do like 20 seconds, 30 seconds kind of thing, or just to get away, or
Sure. I mean,
If we can
you're
find
setting a
a
timer,
ladder or
so
something and hook our arms through
and
it.
we have a location there that we can enter, right? And get behind the door and close it.
Do we have
I
like
would assume
mag
there's a way to
boots?
clip on here,
Yeah, do we
right?
have mag boots that can kind of magnetize us to the
That's true
deck?
too. Yeah. Or at
I
least prepare ourselves, but obviously before we blow the O2,
I
just
think it makes sense that the eco suits, because they're meant to go into space, that they would have some type of mag,
Grapple.
yeah,
uh,
something to yeah. And you're right, this is an airlock, so there would be places you could hook into should you need to. Um,
okay.
okay. Go ahead and make your Comtech roll.
Let's see, one success.
Perfect. That is all you need. And most of the time, to let everybody know, you only need one success. Anything over a success is just, those stunts, the bonus stuff. Every once in a while, you might need more than one, but in 99% of the time, it's only one. What were you setting the timer for?
Me?
Yes.
As long as it takes to get to where safety is.
I mean, like we said, you can hook up in the room. You can, run out to the decon room or even further back. I mean, what would it's really all up to you. You have not passed any terminals, so you're gonna have to, like manually open these doors to, go to where it needs, where you need to.
Do you want us to have
Well,
the door to the med bay area open and then, yeah, hoof it over there and we'll just close the door?
that sounds good.
Or the infirmary?
So, are you
Like
guys do?
junction G6.
Yeah, kind of like just above that. there's
That
that door.
so that door is the one you guys will let me in and out.
Well, depends how much we like you.
All right. So, just so I'm understanding, everybody else is going to go into that hallway near Junction G6 while the Colonel goes through and, sets the airlock and then runs back, correct? All right, cool. So you are absolutely able to do that. You set the Colonel, you set the timer for, however long you want to however you feel you need, whether that's 30 seconds or a minute, start running. You're leaving the doors behind you open or closed?
They need to be open so that
Okay.
the air gets sucked out.
Okay. So you start doing that. The rest of you, as you get to that other hallway near the junction, you can see up into the inmate infirmary. You can see that it is ablaze with fire. In fact,
Shit.
Dr. Jury and Navarre, your Geiger counters on your CBRNs, just approaching that door, they start to click. Whatever's behind there, there is very strong radiation.
Radiation.
Why didn't we check that first?
Because the GM forgot to tell you.
Grab a hold of something.
Yeah.
So the Colonel, you start, running or moving quickly down the hallways, leaving the doors. You get to where everybody else is, and you can all hear the airlock open. There is a rush of air as the pressure from inside starts to just go outside. You can feel how it's pulling you. You all were expecting that, so you're able to maintain a hold on where you're at, but you're in that junction right now. Where do you want to go? The airlock's open. You're not being sucked out because you prepared for that, but you still need to go somewhere.
You close the airlock now.
Well, so we think the cell fires are probably out. Do we want to open the med lab as well? Just put that out as same time?
Oh, wait a minute. So maybe I misunderstood. Were you leaving I thought you were not leaving the doors open as you were going through.
Okay, then we'll have to go back and open them as we go, right? To
Oh,
extinguish it.
I thought we left doors open as we
Okay, all
went,
right.
go out, and then we had to get into the med bay, but we couldn't or to the infirmary because it's on fire. So we ended up in the hall standing.
Right.
So
Okay, all right. That was my misunderstanding. Okay.
yeah, that's what we did.
It was pretty confusing. We had a bunch of different ideas. So.
Right, there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you can, again, you can, feel the just the air being sucked out of the hallway. Again, are you opening up the doors to the inmate infirmary?
Well, if
Anything that's on fire, we want exposed to vacuum.
Right.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Yeah, the sergeant will
Let's get out of the way to make sure that plasma fire doesn't shoot past us and burn us down now.
Yeah, I'd like to end up near the ladder side of the door opening.
Maybe
Not
down
when
by
all the
junction
syringes come
F2.
flying and just
All right.
jab me in the eyes.
So you open the inmate infirmary or the door that leads up into the hallway for the inmate infirmary, and you're right. You're the as it opens up, plasma fire just gets sucked out just because of the pressure differences, but it immediately starts to dissipate just due to the lack of oxygen in where it is. Again, Doctors Navarre and Jerry, your
Radiation.
Geiger counters start to just go up. In fact, I would like, we're going to also now do a radiation roll. So everybody gets one rad. So there should be a place on your character sheet to note rads. Lark, you have to do this as well because synthetics are affected by radiation. So the way that this works is you roll. making sure that I'm doing this right. You roll a number of d6s equal to the number of rads that you have. So right now you all only have one rad. If you get a success, that's 1 point of damage.
If we get not a success.
If
I
you don't get a success, then you don't get any damage.
I have
Oh, okay.
taken a point of damage. I
Okay.
was too
I
close to
also
the door.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
also.
So who got damaged? Lark and Sajad. Okay. So you can just kind of like feel almost like a radiation burn. You know that these suits don't protect you, but you can decontaminate if you can find a decontamination room. There are meds to help you get rid of your rads, but the rads are cumulative. You do if you are in a clean area for one shift, then which is 8 hours, 5 to 10 hours, you'll heal one rad per shift that you're in a clean area. But you start running down to, I think you said you were going to like where junction F2 was. Okay. You go in there. That hallway was not engulfed in flames, so you can duck in there and close the door if you'd like, in order to, kind of wait it out. So you're kind of in there. After a couple minutes, you can hear Gray come on to your headset over intercoms, whatever, and say, the fire appears to be lowering. I can, the temperature in the ship has stabilized. So whatever you have done appears to have worked.
Good. That's good news.
You're just standing in this hallway. What would you like to do?
I think I will tell Gray that the infirmary is out of commission on this level.
Something's very high of radiation in that room.
Extremely high radiation, where obviously we need to get away from that, obviously, which we're doing. I think our next step, is it like a command area of this ship on some level? I'm wondering if we should I heard a voice, but I couldn't make anything out. But there's somebody, at least one person alive on the ship. I'm wondering if we should head towards like a command center and see if we can find anything there, or at least see what we can get from their station logs and things to see what the hell happened here.
And Gray says he kind of responds to that. He said to your first thing about the inmate infirmary. He says the maps do show that there appears to be a med lab on deck C that may be intact, and he also reiterates that Mother may be able to, or if you find a terminal that's connected to Mother, which all terminals should be, that you will find you should be able to track anybody on the ship.
Okay, so maybe
Or
our
the
next
station.
would be to find a terminal that we can access that's still working.
Deck H does have a central hub labeled on the map.
So the central hub,
Mhm.
yes, that is surrounded. So basically, the central hub is the containment core of the plasma
I
energy.
see.
So this is
Okay.
where like all of it is not necessarily stored, but it's definitely funneled through here in order to uh, get stored. Because I believe Deck H is also where the trawling arms are. Yeah, Deck H is also where the trawling arms are. So that's where a lot of the plasma gets funneled through and stored, and so on.
Was it the port side of E that we saw had been blasted open as well?
It was multiple places on on Deck E. So it wasn't just the port side. It was um, you actually saw it on the starboard side, actually.
Okay,
Uh,
that's gonna be our problem basically is looking at this as we go up the alphabet. That's higher up, and that's where we need to be to get to C. But we're gonna have to go through that, and that's like the only way up is that chute in the middle of everything.
And as
So
a
if that's
note, Deck
damaged,
G has two emergency cryo sleep areas. Perhaps people have secured themselves in cryo sleep
yeah.
uh to avoid peril. And there's something marked Joe's. Do we know what that is?
Joes would be working Joes androids to
Oh,
do
okay. Okay.
work probably in the plasma area. They could also, or more likely, at least in this case, they're going to be the corrections officers synthetics.
Do we?
Um, All right, so there's lots of places that you can go. You're right next to junction F2, which I believe if you look on H or E, F, G, or G, sorry, I had to remember my alphabet. There should be like a G2 and an H2 junction. Those will also, that's where they kind of connect to. They're essentially ladders that go between decks. Again, the chute is the main kind of like
I see.
way to go through each. Go from deck to deck if you need to.
But the chute is filled with plasma, or no?
No, the chute is a self-contained. I'll just tell you this. The chute is a self-contained area. It's probably about 15 to 20 meters by 15 to 20 meters. It's a very large like cylinder. It is also 0G. So you basically float from level to level. That makes it very easy to transport large, cargo and things like that.
Is there an elevator?
No, that's essentially the elevator. So you kind of pull yourself along, or in some cases there may be like a um, the best way the best analogy I have for this is if you've ever been to like a ski resort where they have those like little ropes that pull you up the hill, there would probably be something like that you could probably operate to.
So that might be our best option to get up to any different deck then if it's clear, right?
Yeah,
Um,
if you want to get to the med bay on C, that's our only way up, at
mhm.
least without going outside of the ship.
And what deck is the command center on for the ops, central ops
Operation is on B.
on B?
Yeah.
All right, so maybe we should head
How do
up.
we get through this E deck? Sounds like everything we want is up.
Hopefully the
Take the
chute's
chute.
intact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can
Yeah,
Otherwise, we're
just
gonna have to tunnel.
we just cut through E deck through the chute, right?
yeah, and just to say it too, you would all know this. You can go through the outside of the ship as well. If you needed to,
Yeah,
since you
B
obviously have an
has some
airlock open.
airlocks. Yeah.
Right.
When we were outside the ship in our own ship, were all of the lights on the entire station out or just the ones that were damaged?
Um, the ones that not all lights were out. Because remember it was I think it was deck H that the um the umbilical extended as the set arena approached, and the lights were on that deck. So there are decks that have power. You just didn't see any on this deck, probably because of the fire.
Maybe we should go up to deck H then. Or is it down?
H would be down. Yeah,
H would be down, yeah.
yep, H is
It goes
down.
A
Yeah,
at the
F is
top,
up.
and then I think I or J at the very bottom.
Yeah.
And again, it's about a kilometer tall, so you can imagine how big it is.
Looking at the plans, deck D has an airlock. So if
Yeah.
we could get past E on the outside without burning, we could always get in through there.
Well,
There
let's
should be airlocks on almost every level.
yeah.
There's definitely one on H, or I'm sorry, G. Which one am I? Yeah, there's definitely one on G. You guys are on F.
If we're
I'm
going to
just looking at
find
the maps.
anybody alive, it'll be on a level that still has power.
Correct.
Let's get to the chute and let's just see what we can see there. That's the only way. Well, it's not the only way down, but if we want to go up without a lot of hassle, that's it. So yeah,
I agree, Sergeant.
yeah, let's at
Okay.
least go check out that chute that's in the middle of F and see what's going on.
All right. Um, are you going back the same way that you came?
I think so. It sounds like it's kind of calmed down, right? Like it'd still be zero oxygen, but
Yeah, and I mean you can shut the door to that hallway,
yeah,
unless you wanted
yeah,
to go further and shut it. And again, in theory, if you find a terminal, you should be able to close the airlock from there as well.
yeah,
But you just haven't found one yet.
yeah. That's good. Just shut the one that's kind of leading up to the hallway to the med bay.
Okay. All right. So you shut that, so that kind of kills any of the suction.
Yeah,
The radiation begins to fall. It appears that the doors are at least blocking a little bit of it. You start going back the way that you came. You get to the hallway in which there's the where the intercom was. You get to that hallway and you start to turn towards the chute, and you can see going down the other hallway because again these all have like little windows in them so you can see through the doors. It does look like that other hallway towards the that goes to the starboard side of the whatever of the space station. It does look like there may be power there. You see some like a faint glow of lights down that way. But I'm assuming you're going to continue going towards the chute. You get to the chute and it's basically like this very large uh, I don't know, tunnel essentially that goes vertically, where you can kind of step into it, and there's no gravity within that central part, and so it's it's a little disconcerting, because you're basically stepping into air, but then you start to float, if you were going that way. Um, so you're going
Instead
up.
of
Go
instead
on.
of just stepping in, can we sort of vault into it so that
Sure.
we shoot up to
Yeah,
where
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. There's like handholds on the side for you to like pull yourself and keep going. I mean, you can only go so fast, but yeah, you can definitely jump in and start vaulting yourself to wherever you would like to go. Um, so are you going up to the level above or the level below? You can go either way. You do see lights within the chute, so it does illuminate the chute itself. You can't really see much because again, it's a kilometer. You're actually pretty much in the center of the ship for the most part. So it can go either way.
which way do you want us to go, Colonel?
I want to go up and get the science.
forward with that.
The astrophysics lab is on D,
Yep.
so that's where I would like to start. Maybe we could find out what's causing these gravity spikes, how to protect ourselves from future um,
Yeah.
debris strikes.
We should also have access to Mother up there.
Yeah, Dr. Ajiri, you said there was a med lab up there as well?
Yeah.
C.
Yeah, okay, I see it.
B is the command level. So maybe we should just hit them as we hit them going up.
Yeah.
Start with D, then go to C, make sure that the med bay is okay, that we can bring the captain there. And then head up. Then once we secure that, maybe we can have Gray escort the captain there, or we can come back for it. And then just get whatever record or whatever data, ship's lives we can get out of the command center. See if we can piece together what happened here.
Okay. So you do know, from looking at the maps that um, Mother is on deck C. If you wanted to, directly access Mother, but you start going up. Um, the As you get to deck E, this is again, deck E is the one that was just completely demolished from the outside. As you pass through it is actually there are doors that can seal off the chutes. These doors have been sealed, probably by something automatic because of the danger. Unfortunately, there are no view holes for you to see. It's completely sealed, almost like fire doors. So you past deck E. Dr. Navarre and Ijiri, as you pass, you can see that your Geiger counters start to spike a little bit. So there is likely radiation on the other side of that door. You
But
get
that's where
up
the
to
food is stored.
on deck E. Yeah, that's the residence food and supply, area. You continue going, get to deck D. Deck D is there is one door leading out of the chute. Is this where you're getting off at, or are you going to continue
Yes.
to go?
Well, we need mother, so should we go to C first? Because then we can get that going so we can access all the data and everything works when we go to
Well,
the lab.
we can access her directly there, but we should be able, all the science stations should be
Okay.
able to contact, to link into her.
Hmm.
Well, but if Tetsu's right, there's no reason to stop short of Deck C, if all the data is stored in Mother, which hopefully it is.
That ties in with what Lark suggested as well. There are emergency cryopods there that would be where the warden might hide.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I think C is, yeah, I think
Let's
Dr.
keep
Jiri,
going.
let's
But
head on
It's
C.
where the warden's quarters are in general. Might have
Yeah.
more information.
are your detectors showing any radiation on this level?
No
There's
more
radiation
than
everywhere.
Yeah, no more than normal. Not dangerous radiation. Let me put it that way.
Do we want to shut this door behind us before we go up to C?
These floors do appear to have power, so you are able to shut them if you want to.
Yeah, then shut
What
the
door are
doors.
we shutting?
For on deck D, there's only one door out of the chute.
It's already shut though, isn't it?
No, E was shut. D was
Oh,
it was open.
Do we want to look through here and see if there's anyone alive on this level?
well, that was
Just
our
a
original intention.
quick step
You then
through.
said you wanted to go to C instead of D.
Go
Well,
through D,
I
that's
think
fine.
Tetsu had a good point. C is probably the right destination, but can we check and see if anyone's alive?
Sure. Good.
We
Wow.
could see where, once we get to mother, we could see and get a terminal. We could see where anyone alive would be. And then we could disperse from there rather than going in blindly. That's only, I'm having a hard
There's
time surviving this.
there's terminals all over this part of the ship. The
Well,
prisoners
there
will be
were,
restricted from getting onto the terminals, but they should all be here. I'm not sure you'll even have access to Mother directly. You need all kinds of clearances to get into that room. Um, I don't know why you'd want to go in there anyway.
um, not mother per se, but just being able to get data from mother, is where that is. We need to find a terminal. Um,
Go
Perhaps
into
then
D.
D, I mean, if you, well, perhaps we can find a terminal. Let's see what we can access from D because we're there, and maybe check to see if there's any life. I still think if there's any survivors, they would be like in the command unit, if anything. They might
In
have slept on
in
B.
frustration, I'm just going to stop talking and head straight towards the door. Go up to D.
So
And there
you
there may also be power tools here in the part storage,
Yeah.
so I think it's wise that we explore.
Right.
All right.
Doctor, don't get too
All right,
far
then
ahead.
original plan, just take each deck as we go up. That sounds
Yeah.
good.
So you get off on deck D, and again you've got the little heads up display where you can see the map of the floor. You can head to basically when you leave the chute, you're in a large room. Again, there's power on here, but there is at least in this room you don't see anybody. You can head towards the engineer's office, the VIP bay, a EVA suit storage, or the astrophysics lab. There are all doors to going to each. Each door is closed. There are no terminals in this particular room.
Well, engineering or the science lab should have terminals, so let's
Engineering
head
it
there,
is.
whichever's closest.
All right.
And make sure you have your weapons drawn at this point.
Hmm.
This is, yeah.
No.
Could we split up and cover the ground more quickly?
You can.
Otherwise, I can't recommend it, but I mean, we are on a timetable. I
Have
don't
we
like what this
seen,
place is doing.
GM, have we seen any evidence anywhere on the ship, including the damaged areas, that there was some kind of gunfight or we haven't seen a single body or physical
Not yet.
damage,
Nope.
not a
That
blood splatter.
I mean, you've seen damage from the fire and the meteors, but you haven't seen anything to indicate that there was like unrest or upheaval or gunshots or anything like that so far.
So just before we proceed, gentlemen and ladies, where are all the prisoners?
They could be
I mean,
anywhere at the
obviously they
station.
weren't in the cells.
They could have been during a work day. Most of the work operation that isn't warden, everyone is down, right?
Down below.
Did we
I think
evaluate the
so.
cells to see if there were anyone inside of them, though?
Well,
You didn't. Yeah, I mean, you walked past
life
the
forms,
one hall of cells, but
Okay, those
you
were
didn't see
empty.
anybody in there.
Okay.
we need a terminal just to see where all life forms,
Yeah.
the living beings
Agreed.
are on here. Then we'll have a better idea if there
Do
are
we know,
future survivors, where they're
is
located.
this station safety compliant? Do they have enough escape pods for everyone on the board? Were there to be an emergency that required evacuation?
You know that there are evacuation pods.
Not enough for the
They're
crew,
kind
I
of
would
collectively referred to as lifeboats.
Mm.
They would likely be at the bottom of the space station, based on how they're typically laid out. Now, whether or not there's enough for 99 inmates plus 12 or however many, other workers, you don't know that yet.
I bet the warden's got one up above at his
He has his own cryopod.
The company would absolutely report that there was enough to save every life on
course.
the space station.
Plus a few extra, just in case.
So which way are you all going? I heard, maybe you're going to split up. Somebody wanted to go to the engineer office.
Where have
I'll
we
head-
come into this level?
At
We're at
in
the
the
chute.
very center at the chute.
I'll head towards the engineer office. I think that accomplishes Dr. Ajiri's desire for the control unit. He'll
Okay.
likely be in there.
Yeah.
I'm headed towards the astrophysics lab.
Okay.
So
I'll
we're
go
going
with
the
the
two different
sergeant.
directions.
Okay. All right. So those going to the astrophysics lab, you go into that room. The room is empty except for a holo tab on the on a desk essentially. It's functioning. It's projecting a 3D image of stars of the two stars of the system that you're in, of the 26 Draconis system, of the black hole, and it kind of shows the plasma jets that are kind of like being funneled from into the accretion disk of the black hole, and so on. Give me a observation roll for whoever is in the astrophysics lab. So this is going to be your observation plus wit plus any stress dice you have. And then let me know if you get any successes.
I rolled a 1 on my stress die, and I got 1 success.
Okay. Who all is with you in the astrophysics lab?
I guess I'll be with him.
Okay, go ahead and roll as well. Um, Colonel, go ahead and roll your panic and add 1 to it. So just roll a single d6 and add 1 and let me know what you get.
I got nothing.
Okay.
I got
Colonel,
a 2 on that roll.
okay, did you get a success as well? I apologize.
I did. I got 1
Okay.
success.
So you keep it together. The just looking at everything that you've gone through today so far kind of hits you. And looking at this holographic image just kind of puts it into perspective of you. But as you're looking at there, you see this like little speck compared to everything else in there. It's small, but it looks like there is also an asteroid that a very large asteroid that is maybe in a similar gravitational path as the space station is. It doesn't necessarily, you can't tell, what its trajectory is or anything like that, but it's not being sucked into the black hole yet. But it's, enough that it was marked on the map. So that's really all you see. You also see that it's labeled asteroid 1113b. Dr. Navarre, I mean, you're seeing the same thing, but not much else. Then Sergeant, Dr. Ajiri, and Lark, you are heading to the engineering room. You go into the engineering room, and it has been ransacked. This is actually the first instance you've seen of any type of violence or anything. There is a desk in there that's been knocked over. A monitor is broken on the floor. There was a terminal in there, but it has basically been destroyed. It looks like somebody came in here and was just trying to, destroy the area. Maybe they're looking for something. The three of you give me an observation roll as well. Looks like Sergeant, you got some successes.
2.
2 successes. None for Lark, and for Dr. Ajiri.
I have 2 successes.
Awesome. So both of you, as you are, kind of looking through all of the destruction in this room, you come across a post-it note. On the post-it note, it looks like this was like hidden under, it was probably like attached to the keyboard, and then the keyboard, or keyboard, sorry, the monitor, and then the monitor was just knocked onto the floor, so it was kind of hidden under some of the glass and the debris. And it says overrides as well, and it has 6 different what look like codes. You don't know what they do, but you've got them now. All of you. You are all, in your separate rooms. The way that this is kind of laid out, you've got the chute in the center, and then you have almost like a I don't know, around the chute you've got, essentially like a hallway that leads to all these different doors. One set of you are in the astrophysics lab. Another set of you are in the engineering office. From the hallway, excuse me, from the hallway, you hear a piercing shriek that echoes from somewhere in the hallway. Everybody take a level of stress from that, and another stress point. After a pause, coming from the opposite direction, down the other end of the hallway, you hear this high-pitched howling reply. Whatever is in the hallway from either side is coming in the direction of where you're at. And that is where we're going to stop for tonight.
Boy. Our players included Holly Puto, Nathan Decker, Steve Anderson, Joe Bardellis, and myself, with Tyler Hudak as the game AI. We have a Discord server where you can chat with other members, you can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Spotify, Podbean, or iTunes. Support for this show is provided by our patrons who are listed in the closing credits. If you'd like to show us your appreciation, please visit our Patreon page, or you can use the thanks button just below the screen. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answer any questions you might have. This is Thom Raley, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the alien role-playing universe. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.